Are you stuck in your own head? Seriously, think about it. Are the very tools you use to connect actually disconnecting you from yourself? Is chasing that validation, that constant like or nod, actually eroding your sense of worth? And all this information, is it enlightening you or just leaving you utterly lost? These aren't just abstract thoughts. These are the whispers in our hyper-connected world, aren't they? We're bombarded, yet starved for real understanding. We curate our lives for an invisible audience, mistaking a performance for presence, digital affirmation for actual connection. It's a paradox, more connected than ever, but are we more understood? Or just more exposed, adrift in a sea of curated realities? This isn't comfortable, but it's essential. Today, we're not finding answers out there. We're unearthing them within. We're reclaiming a sovereignty of self that this modern world is relentlessly trying to steal. Get ready for a mental recalibration, a deep dive into your own mind, and a radical reimagining of what it truly means to be present, authentic, and free. We're talking about the echo chamber of the self. Carl Jung, the mind guru, he talked about our inner worlds not just being one thing, but a complex interplay of conscious and unconscious bits. The echo chamber, it's our mind's tendency to reinforce what we already believe, what we already like, what we already are. It's building a mental fortress, letting only echoes of what we know resonate. It creates this distorted, but oh so comfortable sense of reality. And this isn't just academic talk anymore, right? Social media algorithms are the masters here. They feed you what you've clicked on, what you've said, who you are. It's engagement maximization. But this constant reinforcement, it actively discourages diverse viewpoints, critical self-reflection, and the friction of genuine disagreement. We're siloed, not just politically or socially, but inside our own heads. We mistake amplified biases for the full chorus of reality. The sheer volume of info, combined with curated feeds, means we're less likely to stumble on things that shake our foundations, forcing us to confront our own limitations. The echo chamber of the self has this dual nature. On one hand, security, a predictable, manageable inner world. It makes us feel validated, understood. That's the comforting hum of familiarity. On the other hand, stagnation, intellectual atrophy, a profound disconnect from the real world. It creates this fragile ego, easily threatened by anything that deviates from its narrative. The truth is that security is an illusion, a gilded cage. It stops us from exploring our potential and the rich tapestry of human experience. It's the difference between a perfectly decorated room and a wild, untamed forest. Terrifying, yes, but also exhilarating and transformative. Imagine your mind as a vast library. The echo chamber, it's that librarian who only retrieves books already on your nightstand. They ensure the titles you've read are always the most accessible. Ask for something new, something challenging. Ah, they say, but you loved this author before. Here's another, remarkably similar. This librarian, trying to please, inadvertently stops you discovering new genres, radical ideas, authors who'd offer a completely different perspective. Your library, once a gateway, becomes a self-referential archive, a monument to what you already know. The psychology behind this is rooted in our evolutionary wiring and cognitive biases. At its heart is confirmation bias, that innate tendency to find, interpret, and recall information that confirms our existing beliefs. It's a mental shortcut. But in our current world, this shortcut is a potent architect of our echo chambers. Then there's cognitive dissonance, that mental discomfort when our beliefs clash. We actively avoid information that challenges our worldview. When we encounter it, we dismiss it, rationalize it, or seek counterarguments. This creates a self-perpetuating cycle. Our beliefs become insulated, resistant to change. And the availability heuristic? We overestimate information that's easily recalled. which in our echo chambers is exactly the info that confirms our biases. Let's get real with 3 case studies.
Anya, the curated influencer. She built her life around an image of effortless success, deep-seated insecurity, a fear of not being enough. Social media was her stage. Likes, comments, shares, her oxygen. She curated photos of achievements, travel, perfect relationships. Doubtful comments, deleted, blocked, or met with defensive justifications. Her internal world became a reflection of her online brand. She believed her life was as flawless as her feed. Then, a major career setback. A project she poured her heart into failed spectacularly. Anya couldn't process it. Her internal narrative, built in constant affirmation, had no room for failure. She had an existential crisis, unable to reconcile her perceived success with the undeniable truth of her failure. The echo chamber had blinded her to her own vulnerabilities and her capacity for resilience. The long-term consequence? A crippling fear of authenticity, an inability to learn from mistakes, and a gnawing anxiety that the next failure would shatter the illusion. How often do you find yourself meticulously crafting a narrative not for yourself, but for others, and losing touch with your own messy, imperfect truth? David, the conspiracy theorist. Marginalized, overlooked, he found solace in online conspiracy communities. He stumbled upon a video with a plausible alternative explanation for a major event. This resonated with his feeling of being an outsider, someone who saw the real truth. He actively sought more content supporting this narrative, joining forums, subscribing to channels, engaging in discussions where dissent was demonized. His online activity created a powerful echo chamber. Evidence contradicting his beliefs, dismissed as fabricated, part of the conspiracy. He became isolated from concerned family and friends, their skepticism proof of their indoctrination. David's internal world became a fortress of paranoia. Every event, every piece of news filtered through his reinforced beliefs. The psychological cost for David? An erosion of trust, constant anxiety, a profound inability to think critically outside his chosen narrative. The long-term consequence, a life lived in perpetual suspicion, a prisoner of his own worldview, unable to connect with shared reality. Do you recognize in David the subtle tendency to dismiss information that challenges your deeply held beliefs, even when it's well-supported and widely accepted? Sarah, the perfectionist parent. She felt immense pressure to raise children, ensuring their absolute success and happiness, amplified by seemingly perfect parenting advice online. Her own childhood lacked emotional validation, so she was determined to shield her children. This led her to create an echo chamber of perfect parenting. Any suggestion that involved allowing children to experience struggle, failure, or negative emotions was viewed as detrimental. A scraped knee? Immediate comfort and distraction, preventing them from learning self-soothing. Struggling with homework? She'd intervene immediately, not allowing space to grapple. Her internal dialogue? What if I'm not doing enough? What if they resent me later? This created a suffocating environment. Her children learned to fear mistakes, becoming overly reliant on her oversight. The psychological cost for Sarah? Crippling anxiety, exhaustion, a feeling of never being good enough, and a growing distance from her children. The long-term consequence? Her children might develop a fear of autonomy and a lack of resilience. And Sarah, profound regret and a sense of missed connection. When you encounter advice that clashes with your deeply ingrained beliefs about how things should be, what is your immediate internal reaction, and how does that reaction shape your actions? The cost of staying in our echo chambers is staggering. Missed opportunities for genuine connection, erosion of critical thinking, stifled creativity, profound alienation from a reality that's increasingly out of sync with ours. It's the quiet tragedy of a life lived in a comfortable but barren mental landscape, where vibrant colors are muted into a monotonous hue. It's not just about being wrong, it's about being incomplete. A pale imitation of your potential, where the most profound discoveries remain undiscovered, not because they're inaccessible, but because your internal filters deemed them unworthy. The path to liberation, it's not easy. It requires conscious, deliberate effort to dismantle the walls you've built, often unknowingly. It demands courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. True freedom here isn't the absence of external constraints, but internal sovereignty, the ability to engage with reality as it is, not as you wish it to be, and to integrate diverse perspectives without losing your core. It's the strength to hold opposing ideas, tolerate ambiguity, and learn from experiences that challenge your preconceptions.
So, what's the first practical step? Active information diversification. What? Consciously seek out and engage with information, perspectives, and individuals that deliberately challenge your existing beliefs and comfort zones. Why? Our brains are wired for efficiency, leading to confirmation bias. Actively seeking dissonant information acts as an antidote. It forces cognitive engagement and prevents mental stagnation. Think of it like a muscle. If you only lift the same weight, it won't grow. You need varied resistance. How? Identify your core beliefs on a few topics. For each, find a reputable source with a strong, well-reasoned, opposing viewpoint. This could be an article, a podcast, a book. Engage with it, even if you disagree. Ask yourself, what's the most compelling argument here? Intentionally engage with people who hold different views. Aim for understanding, not conversion. Challenges. You'll feel discomfort, defensiveness. Your biases will fight back, telling you it's wrong, dangerous, a waste of time. It takes significant mental discipline. Next, the practice of self-questioning. What? Cultivate a habit of rigorously interrogating your own thoughts, assumptions, and motivations, especially when you have a strong emotional reaction. Why? Our internal narratives are often built on unexamined assumptions. By questioning the origin and validity of your thoughts, you can identify the echoes and biases shaping your perception. Become an impartial observer of your own internal dialogue. How? When you have a strong opinion or reaction, pause. Ask yourself, why do I believe this? What evidence supports it? What evidence might contradict it? Is this belief serving me or limiting me? Where did this thought originate? Is it mine or an echo? Practice this in low-stakes situations, then gradually apply it to bigger internal dialogues. Keep a journal. Challenges? This can feel like a betrayal of your identity. It requires humility and a willingness to admit you might be wrong. The ego will resist the scrutiny fiercely. And finally, embracing constructive discomfort. What? Reframe the feeling of discomfort, confusion, or anger from challenging ideas as a signal of growth, not a threat to be avoided. Why? Growth rarely happens in comfort zones. Discomfort is the friction needed to dislodge old patterns. By embracing it, you transform roadblocks into stepping stones. How? When you feel that familiar pang of resistance, acknowledge it without judgment. Tell yourself, this feeling is a sign I am learning. This discomfort precedes expanded understanding. Instead of shutting down, lean into it. Understand what's triggering the reaction. Is it the content, the source, how it challenges your self-image? Practice this by engaging with challenging art, literature, difficult conversations with a conscious intention to learn from the discomfort. Challenges. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive principle. Our inclination is to avoid pain. Actively seeking and embracing mental discomfort requires a fundamental reorientation of your relationship with your internal states. The difficulty in these practices isn't their futility, but their transformative power. Each moment of discomfort, each question probing the edges of your certainty, is a signal you're breaking free. It's the sound of your mind expanding, new possibilities emerging from challenged assumptions. This isn't about erasing your past or abandoning your values. It's about enriching your internal landscape, making it more resilient, more nuanced, and ultimately more authentic. So we stand at a crossroads armed with a deeper understanding of our internal echo chambers. We've seen how they're constructed, how they operate, and the costs they exact. The choice is clear.
Remain within the comforting, limited confines of your self-created resonance, or step out. Actively seek the dissonant notes, the challenging harmonies, the rich, complex symphony of a reality that extends far beyond familiar echoes. Will you continue to curate your world to fit your existing beliefs, or will you allow your beliefs to be shaped by the expansive, often uncomfortable truth of the world?